Hello and welcome to the High Performance Consciousness Podcast. My name is Matthew Paddy, and again, I will be your host for today's episode. In this episode, you're going to listen to the first part of a live masterclass I presented a little while ago called The Science of Income Doubling for coaches, consultants, and health practitioners. And inside this 2 or 3 part little episode, you are going to discover how to double your income, treble, quadruple your income in such a short period of time by aligning the 3 aspects: mind, message, and market. So enjoy this first part, and I'll see you on the other side. So we're coming from the secret bunker of income doubling to deliver this masterclass for you guys. So let's have a bit of fun, shall we? So if you're watching, make sure you give some thumbs up and some likes and comment and just let me know that you're watching, all right? So that we can engage, because this is an engaging masterclass. If you do have a pen and paper, you will want to grab it, okay? Because I'm going to do some drawings, some of my famous drawings, as well as take you through some really, really income exploding content. Hey Lisa, great to see you. Who else is watching? Just comment. Let's get a little bit of gathering. Let's gather the consciousness. Let's allow the consciousness to load. We're going to be about 30 minutes. Okay, about 25, 30, maybe 35. So just comment. Let me know that you're watching. Consciousness. Let's allow the consciousness. Oh, there we go. I can hear that. Bit of a delay. It's going to be about 30 minutes. Okay, about 25, 30, maybe 35. Okay, there we go. All right, Corey, great to see you. Hey, Lise. All right, if you are watching, make sure you comment. All right, so let's dive in. Stay to the end, because I've got something really special to share with you. So, and it is for those people that are coaches and consultants, those people that really, really do want to take things to the next level. The next level's not really the next level. The next level's the next level, okay? So what I'm going to share with you in this little mini class is going to help you to reframe the inner conversation you have about money, the inner conversations you have around positioning yourself as the expert in your niche, helping you to reframe and gain a different perspective on how easy it is, when you know how, to double your income in as little as 90 days. Okay. So it's, hey Em, great to see you. Really good to see you. All right, so let's dive in. I'm going to go across to my iPad now and share a bit of a screen. But before I do, I'd like you to comment below, and I'm checking on my phone. If you doubled your income, if you doubled your monthly income within the next 90 days, what would that mean for you? And what's the first thing that you would do to celebrate? So if you were able to double your income in the next 90 days, your monthly income, what would that mean to you? And what's the first thing you would do to celebrate? Co-creators love that, Lise. So I know there's a few more people watching. Make sure you comment. There's at least one more that's got eyes on this, and maybe it's me. So I'll just wait for your answers to come in, because I know that there's a short delay here. So what would doubling your income mean to you? And what's the first thing that you would do to celebrate it? 2 really good questions, by the way, and they're big questions. Because quite often we just want more money, but we actually don't know why. Or we do know why, but it's more superficial. It's like, oh, because I want to relieve stress, or because I want to pay my bills, or because I want to blah, 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 whatever it's going to be. But what would it mean to you? And what's the first thing that you would do? I can't see any comments here. I'll give you 30 more seconds. And then I'll take it that you guys are overwhelmed with positive feelings around the thoughts of those answers. Here we go. Emma, more freedom. Step closer to moving to property. Nice. And the first thing I would do is celebrate is I am honestly not sure. Well, sit with that question and explore it. Explore it. I'm glad you're honest though. It's really good. Okay, so I'm going to push on. Okay, I'll read some of the other comments soon, but let me share my screen and let's get into it. I will have time for questions as well, for those of you that are interested in the question side of things. Okay, so we can see my screen here. Right, there we go. Just give me the thumbs up that you can see my screen and just type in what you see. We'll play a little game. Let's get some interaction going. Just type in that you can see my screen and type what you can see. And while we're doing that, so Corey, it would mean that I finally trust myself and I would celebrate by taking my kids and I away for 4 days like I've been saying I want to. Love that, love that. More potential freedom and dance like no one's watching. Please, love that too. A tree, brain and roots. Emma, I love it. Energy, nice one, Lisa. So what are you seeing right there? If someone says broccoli, then maybe that's a Jungian archetype, whether you love it or you dislike it. Right, so charades aside, let's go straight into the next part. So income doubling in as little as 90 days. It's possible, it's realistic, and it's entirely doable using what I'm going to share on this this little masterclass with you today. Okay. So income doubling, let's do it. So from previous episodes, gosh, sound like it's a Netflix. Previous episodes, I've spoken about the 3 pillars. Okay. The first one is the mind. The first one is the mind. The mind, when you want something, you must align the mind with the destination. Okay? If you want something and you want to experience something and you have a very, very good reason why you want to experience it, because you want what you want, and that's all you need to know. You must align your mind with the end, with the destination. Okay? You've heard me say that many, many times. I'm going to go deeper into that, especially if you're a coach or consultant, because there is so much dilution of genius in the marketing space, in the coach and consultancy space. You get taught to do this and told to do that and shown how to do this and proof that it works for other people all over the place. Okay. But get really, really clear. And really clear may take a moment, it may take an hour, it may take 3 days, it may take a week to get clear on what you want. And we're going to go into this more specifically. But unless you are clear and your mind is focused on the destination that you want to experience, which is the double of the income, we're going to get into that, then you're at the mercy of the external environment. You are at the mercy of objects and things, people, places, events, and circumstances outside of you. So you become a reactive force rather than a powerful responder. Okay. So the mind, whatever you take into business with you here, you end up re-experiencing through your results. Whatever lack of clarity you have going into marketing or going into working with a client or whatever it may be, is the lack of clarity that will show up inevitably in the work with a client or in the strategy call or breakthrough call, whatever it is that you do to sign people on or have a conversation with them. So the mind is terribly overlooked in the coaching and consultancy space. It is given a separate realm. So it's like way back when, and the church and state said, we'll work together. You take the mind, said state, to church, and the church says to state, you take the rest. You take the body. So the mind is the unifying, and we're going to talk about that, how to unify your mind so that you are talking through whole brain messages. And that's the next thing here. Okay. So message. Pardon me. Okay. So the first is mind, the second is message. So if you're a coach and consultant, then you're often taught that you speak to the wants of the market. What do they want? What do they want? Do they want to feel more satisfied? Do they want more money? Do they want to grow their client base? Do they want to be on television? Do they want to have a world famous, podcast, whatever it's going to be? What do they want? You're taught to give that in your marketing, share that in your marketing. But what you are not doing is you are sharing from a shallow perspective. You're sharing from the shallow. You're sharing from what you're told they want, instead of the experiences they're currently going through. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hey, Christine, great to see you. And those that are just watching as well, make sure you say hello so I can engage you. So you taught to message, to use a shallow message. Tell them what they want and then show them what they need when they're in your program or they're working with you in a paid capacity. But the language of conversion is not this. The language of conversion is this. So we marry the mind and the emotion, which is the message. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? So we must marry the two. And I'm going to loop all the way back around in a moment. And you can see by the time we get to market, and we're actually doing marketing, if we are not clear on our destination and who we serve and what we want, then, and we engage a message that is superficial or shallow. Doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means you can go deeper. You can go deeper. If your message is coming from the head, income doubling is going to be harder. It's going to feel like force. I have to force everything, force the outcome, force the results, force. And force comes with expectation. Expectation is the breeding ground of suffering, of pain, because we attach to an outcome. We go, I'm so attached to it because I'm coming from lack, because I haven't plunged my own depths and spoken from my heart. And therefore, I've been taught to expect a result based on following someone else's formula or system that is about marketing, that is about positioning yourself as the expert, that is about whatever it is. And you fall off the bandwagon. If you're relating to this, then make sure you let me know. Okay, Brent, great to see you. So we have this expectation that I'm going to get what I want, but secretly, I don't have the burn because I haven't gone to the depth. I still feel like I'm hovering just above the ground, or I've just dug one shovel deep into the soil. That's it. And the feedback that I've gotten over the years doing these little mini masterclasses is that there's a lot of people, most people in this field don't talk about any of this stuff because they just want to sell you their system. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that if it works. And remember, you're not selling anyone anything. They're investing in themselves. So how does someone decide to invest in you as their coach, their mentor, their consultant, their health practitioner? We're going to get to that, but it starts with trust. Okay, starts with trust. So you go into the market and you've got, I've gone off on a tangent there, but you've got a wonky mind because you're told to do everything and be all things. and you stay in the head because you're following a structure, a strategy, the logical rhythm of things. And I hear this a lot from coaches as well. I can't follow the system because it's too structured. I break from structure. Sounds familiar? So I sabotage or I procrastinate. I don't follow through. I don't finish. I don't see the results because it's the website or it's the podcast or it's the YouTube channel or it's the Facebook group or it's the funnel, whatever it may be. Okay. So by the time you get to marketing, by the time you get to market, you're a little bit washed out. You're feeling insecure about your value, and you're feeling like there's inconsistent results because you're in force mode, force, okay? Forcing all over yourself, as they might say. Cool. So when you go to market, you're marketing from here, which is breaking you, instead of marketing from here. And you're not marketing to sell, because how many of you love to sell? How many of you love to sell an idea or a product or a service or yourself? Most people, no likey, I no like to sell. So you get blocks and you get these uppercuts that start to enter in and knock you off kilter. Okay. So you're not selling. That's the key. When you speak from the heart and you are aligned, okay, diamond-like aligned, this is my art class, like the tree, diamond aligned, then people feel you. They sense you. And if you've watched the interview with Jen Anderson, fantastic interview, we're going to do a second one very soon, then you will understand that the reason why she went from 7K is what she wanted to over 100K in a month is because she used this. She marketed through this. You might think, oh, that sounds really wishy-washy, sounds a bit fluffy. Sure, I'll go into more details because there's a science to it. There's a science to it. All right, how are we going so far? Just type in, what's your biggest takeaway thus far? What's your biggest takeaway? And while you're doing that, I'll just add in here, when you're marketing from the head and your marketing is shallow, your message is shallow, people pick up on that. And guess what else? You fall prey to your own competitive nature. You fall prey to competition, which means you feel afraid and that you have to compete with everyone else. There's so many coaches, there's so many consultants on the planet, all doing wonderful things. But how do I stand out from the noise? How do I rise above all the distraction? When you market the normal way, you're just one in the crowd. So of course you're going to feel like you're fighting for attention. Of course you're going to feel like you are operating with imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I haven't done enough. I've got to go and put another 3 certificates on my wall and say, this is what I've done. Practice the art of this and this and this and this, and this is how I can help you. That's what keeps you in sameness. Sameness. I'm experiencing the same income, same types of clients, same reality. All right, aligning with my mind to the destination, even though I feel like I knew that. It's hitting differently today. Good, Jen. Good, Emma. Definitely. Neil, great to see you, brother. How non-alignment washes me out. Yeah, bang on, brother, bang on. Okay. All right, so let's move on because I know there's a little delay in this transmission. This is going to break you. It's going to give a little breakthrough for you guys. Okay. I'm sure you're going to love my illustrations. Let's see if we can add some color in a minute. So while I wait for a couple of other people to comment, that's cool. This is indicative of where most coaches and consultants are before they start the income doubling journey. And this is where they stay when they do not understand the science of income doubling. Okay. So this is you. Let's just say it's you right now. This is you here. You are standing on your SP. Let me call it SB instead. Your soapbox. Your soapbox. So you're standing in your soapbox. You're underneath this hemisphere. Okay, let me add some color to this. Add a little bit of color. Okay, this is your hemisphere right here. You're standing underneath and you're observing, pardon me, you're observing all the distractions, all the opportunities. I can see them all. I can see them all. There's so many gold, shiny stars. I can do this. I can write a book. I can be on podcast. I can have my own podcast. I can be in the media. I can run email campaigns. What are other things? I can start a YouTube channel. I can start Facebook ads. I can become an influencer on Instagram. Bang, 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 bang. And so under this hemisphere is the spell that keeps you playing the same game as you've always played. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can reset this here for a minute because it's not bringing up the, here we go. Is this making sense? So I'm on my soapbox and I'm secretly chained to my soapbox because that's the same tune that I've been singing all this time. The same tune. And when I sing the same tune is, well, last time I started a social media campaign, it didn't work. So I go into the past and I look for evidence in the past. Past performance doesn't equal or guarantee future results. It sure does at a neurological level if nothing changes. If you are chained to past thinking, which is I have to do more of these things and be super distracted, and I'll use my past as the litmus test, as proof of whether I've succeeded or not, whether I've got the confidence to go deeper and pursue it or not, whether I've got the confidence and commitment to stay with it or not. Making sense? So I'm hardwired to past experience showing up right now that says I need to do more to get where I want to go. Oh, my finger's coming out. Let's put the finger away. Okay? No, it's so rude to point, Matt. You ever told that? So you just elbow, like with the kids say, look at that person over there. Don't point. They go, oh, okay, elbow. Right, craziness. How are we going with this? So down here, you're on your soapbox and you say, yeah, I've got the goods. I know I can help people. Great, you can. I know that I want to grow my income. I know that in growing my income, I'm increasing my level of certainty and stability and safety and confidence. And what I really want is financial independence. What I really want is financial independence. Yeah. Makes sense? So I'm not beholden to anyone, church or state. I'm not beholden to an external environment. I am the product of my intentions. I'm the product of my focus. I'm the product of my mind, the product of my message, and the product of my market. I am the result. So down here, you're stuck in the past. even though you don't think you are because you're trying new strategies, new tools. But you're setting yourself up for a very predictable future. Because how many times have you tried something and not seen it through? How many times have you tried something, gotten some results, and then dropped the ball, or like it's a hot potato? Burning my hand, don't really think that's what I want anymore. Too much work. Who can relate to that? It's too much work, feels too much like hard work. Doesn't feel aligned anymore, like Neil was saying, doesn't feel aligned. So you drop it and you go and do something else. See, as I've said in many of my classes, I don't do superficial. I want to go deep, and I want to take you deep as well. Because when you go below the strategies, you go to a depth below all the strategies that are taught in the market for coaches and consultants to grow their business, to achieve success, whatever it may be, to become an influencer. When you go deep below it, it doesn't matter. You could change industries. The world could economically poo itself, collapse. But what remains? What remains is your power. What remains is this formula that I'm showing you. Okay, I'm dripping it in. Okay. Yep, that's about sums it up. Yeah, so many times. Nice one. Yeah. Okay, and if you've just joined, make sure you say hello. Make sure you type something in so I can see that you're not just a number on the screen. All right, so past, we get on our soapbox and we say, I'm going to prove that I can do this. Prove to my parents, prove to my peers, prove to my siblings, prove to myself. Prove to yourself is last, typically, when you're honest with it. So I'm going to prove, and I'm going to be on my soapbox, and I'm going to do all of these things, and I'm going to prove to the world that I can show up. But what you end up doing is you repeat the past, and it becomes predictable into the future. Because I've got all of these shiny objects going on. Because I've been taught, hey, you can be a star. Hey, you can be an influencer. Yada, yada, yada. Matt, you've made your point. Please move on. Okay, I will. So this hemisphere right here, we've got to break this hemisphere. Break through this hemisphere is breakthrough thinking, is breakthrough mind, is breakthrough messaging, is breakthrough marketing. Very simple. So these, I won't try and do colors. Well, let's see if I can do colors. Yes, I can. Okay. These ones here. Okay, these little triangles, these represent the three aspects I mentioned before, which is the mind, the message, and the market. Okay. So, but each of them, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call them levels. These are income doubling levels. So every time you go from, you break through, there's an income doubling event has occurred. Then you break through the next one, and you can see these ones are a little bit more transparent. So they're dotted lines. They're not a hard fixed line because now you are focusing on a magic number. Okay. So every time you go to a new level, you have a new income doubling event. Income doubling event.
Well, here you are. I hope you enjoyed that first part of the science of income doubling and have had many new ideas and illuminations presented to you, maybe why you are where you are in your business right now, or potentially how you can double, triple, or quadruple your current cash flow, your current client acquisition in the next 28 days using the information that I've shared with you in this first part. If you want more information or you do not want to wait for the next episode, then you can see the full replay of the masterclass by going to matthewpatty.com/double. matthewpatty.com/double. There's no opt-in required. You can see the full masterclass. And if you feel compelled, drawn to booking in a breakthrough session, then there will be a button on that page where you can do that with me, and we can take things from there. So I hope you enjoyed this part. Lots of new ideas being seeded from me here to wherever you are in the world. Remember to dream a better dream. See you in the field.